Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination perspective will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 31st of August. The first news that is challenging the Special Marriage Act 1954. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu. Second, Delhi police to make forensic proof mandatory. Third, Chennai Airport become fifth busiest airport in our country. Fourth, World Bank report highlights pandemic purchase challenges. And the last is an editorial, the many ways of helping Sri Lanka. This is from the editorial page of the Hindu. So most of the news that I'm covering today is from the Hindu itself. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions, and these questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before that, if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press the like button. So starting the session with the first news, that is challenging the Special Marriage Act of 1954. Something important for General Studies Paper 2 under the topic Structure, Organization and Function of Executive and Judiciary. So recently the Supreme Court has dismissed a writ petition which has challenged the constitutional validity of the certain provision of the Special Marriage Act, also known as SMA, that is the Special Marriage Act of 1954, under which couple seeks to refuse for the interfaith and intercaste marriages, right? So petitioner ने क्या demand किया? We'll see the detail about this. The petition was filed as the writ petition before the Supreme Court, the Honorable Court, and under the Article 32, which challenges certain section of the Special Marriage Act. These sections are named as Section 6 to Section 3, Section 6 of Sub 3, 7, 8, 9 and 10 of the Special Marriage Act, right? So these are important if you're writing specifically in mains. आप इस तरह की चीज़ों को ज़रूर लिखें. The provision of the Special Marriage Act requiring the publications of couple details 30 days before the intent of the marriage in the public domain. This is what the mandatory provision is, and against which a writ petition was filed. Now, violation of फंडामेंटल राइट जो पिटिशन फाइल की गई उसमें बताया गया कि इस तरह की चीज़ों को डिस्क्लोज करना एक इंडिविजुअल के फंडामेंटल राइट का वायलेशन है. हाउ? सो द पिटिशनर आर्ग्यू दैट द प्रोविजन वायलेट द फंडामेंटल राइट दैट इज गारंटेड इन द इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. मोरओवर, द एक्ट इनेबल्स the publishing of the private details or the personal details of the parties for an intended marriage, enabling the objections from the public violate the fundamental right, that is the Article 21, which call for right to privacy and dignity, right? So this is what has been violated, was basically argued in the petition that was filed. And it also violated the right to equality, जो कि Article 14 में mention है, और दूसरी Article 15, that is the right against discrimination. This is what the petitioner has appealed before the Honorable Supreme Court. Now, some provisions that has been challenged. So the first is Section 5 of the Special Marriage Act, which requires couple getting married under to it with a notice to the marriage officer 30 days before the marriage is actually taking place, right? And the writing seeks striking down of the provisions that allow Section 6 to Section 10. उसके अलावा Section 6 की अगर बात करें, this require a notice to be entered into the marriage notice book maintained by the marriage officers, which can be inspected by any person desirous of inspecting the same. तो कहीं ना कहीं एक इंडिविजुअल की जो राइट टू प्राइवेसी है उसका भी हनन है, उसकी वो वायलेशंस है. दिस नोटिस हैज टू बी affixed at the conspicuous place at the office of the marriage so that anyone can raise the objection with regard to the marriages, right? Now, Section 7 की अगर बात करें, that provide for processes of making objection such as either party having living with spouse or is incapable of giving the consent due to unsoundness of mind, is suffering from the mental disorder resulting the person being unfit for the marriage or प्रोक्रिएशंस। तो ये भी प्रोविजंस में डिटेल बताई गई है कि किस तरह से ऑब्जेक्शंस भी रेज की जा सकती है। नाउ सेक्शन 8 क्या कहती है? इट स्पेसिफाई दैट inquiry procedures to be followed after the objection has been submitted. So an inquiry from both the parental side, both from the bride side and the groom side, has to be done by the concerned authorities. Now, how does this provisions make couple vulnerable? अगर personal details शेयर की जाती हैं तो उसके क्या क्या repercussions होंगे वो समझने की जरूरत है. So the public notice that has been used for an anti-social element to harass the couple after they get married. Even the blackmailing has been reported in several parts of our country. Now, there has been instances where marriage officer has gone over beyond the law and sent and such notices were sent to the couple parents. अगर बात करें एक example के तौर पे where women from Delhi were being confined to her house by her parents until March 2020. Her boyfriend filed a habeas corpus in Delhi High Court. Right, so there were some cases that has been reported which is definitely not, no, in spirit of the democracy, in spirit of the fundamental rights, these things are again the violations. Now, as also many complain about the behavior of the staff of the SDM office, which agar baat kare often delete or delay their application, dissuade the couples from marrying under the SMA, and have asked the conversion to get down to the Arya Samaj temple marriages, right? Which even call for an opportunity for each and everyone to get marriage. They do not bound anyone to, basically if anyone is deprived of anything, they give equal opportunity to everyone. So in the reason the stated that कि आर्य समाज में जो टेम्पल्स में जो मैरिज होती है वो अलाउ की जाएंगी, और किसी भी तरह की अगर संचा होती है, कोई सस्पिशियस होती है, देन कोर्ट उनको अलाउ नहीं करता, वहाँ के जो बिहेवियर जो ऑफिसर्स हैं वो उनको अलाउ नहीं करते. Now moving to the other news, that is that Delhi police to make forensic probe mandatory, something relevant for general studies paper 2, that is government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So the Delhi police has become the first police force in our country to make collections of the forensic evidence mandatory in the crime. Which crime? The crime which call for a punishment for more than 6 years. ऐसे crimes में जो forensic evidences है वो mandatory होंगी, and Delhi police has become the first police in the country to do so. Now, the order was issued recently by the Union Home Minister, which has held meeting with the Delhi police senior officer in the police headquarters and directed them to go with the forensic evidence as a mandatory provisions. Now, since Delhi is a union territory and its police is functioning under the administrative control of the Ministry of Home Affairs, तो MHA के अंदर काम करती हैं. आप में से जिनको नहीं पता है, दिल्ली इज अ यूटी और स्टेट स्पेसिफिकली जो पुलिस है यहाँ पे अलग से दी गई है, एंड पुलिस पब्लिक ऑर्डर एंड लैंड इज नॉट द इशू, राइट. तो वहाँ पे स्टेट गवर्नमेंट उसको कंट्रोल नहीं करती है. जो दिल्ली पुलिस है वो डायरेक्टली मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर के अंदर काम करती है. नाउ इंटेंशन बिहाइंड दिस डिसीजन, गवर्नमेंट ने किस इंटेंट के साथ ये डिसीजन लिया है? नो, जो कन्विक्शन रेट है वो काफ़ी लो है ऐसे केसेस में, चाहे वो क्रिमिनल केसेस हो किसी तरह के केसेस हो. तो उस कन्विक्शन रेट को बढ़ाने के लिए क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम में और ट्रस्ट बनाने के लिए और फॉरेंसिक साइंस इन्वेस्टिगेशंस को जुडिशली यूज़ करने के लिए इस तरह की डिसीजन ली गई है, जहाँ पे फॉरेंसिक टूल्स मैंडेटरी होंगी वैसे केसेस में जहाँ पे 6 ईयर से ज़्यादा की इम्प्रिजमेंट CRPC में मेंशन की गई है. Now, forensic mobile van will also be there. Like the government has decided, as per the Delhi police orders, it says that apart from the force mobile crime in all the districts, a van will also be basically to be provided in each and every district. तो हर एक districts में forensic mobile van होगी, which will be allocated to each district to provide scientific and forensic assistance for the spot where it is needed. Now, this forensic mobile van shall not be under the administrative control of police. ये बहुत ही important point है जो आपको नोट करने की ज़रूरत है. ये जो वैन्स होंगी वो डायरेक्टली जो स्टेट पुलिस होंगे या फिर जो महकमे होंगे उनके अंदर काम नहीं करेगी. दे विल बी वर्किंग इंडिपेंडेंटली एंड डायरेक्टली रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू द कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ. That means that if a court direct them, they will be functioning and not by the order which will be given by the state polices. Or you can say the UT police or the Delhi police. Now, The scene visit of the crime whenever is called by the SHO, तो जो हर एक पुलिस स्टेशन के जो SHO है उनको डिमांड पे वो आएंगी, बट अगेन इट हैज टू बी रिपोर्टेड and they will not directly function under their supervision. A request has to be made, but by the investigation agency, then only it can come. It cannot directly function under them. नाउ एम्फेसाइज्ड ऑन सर्वेलेंस, गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है कि जो सीसीटीवी है उस पर भी जोर देने की जरूरत है. जो सीसीटीवी कैमरास की इंस्टॉलेशन की गई है पब्लिक प्लेस में, दैट शुड बी इंटीग्रेटेड विद द पुलिस कंट्रोल रूम, and the camera installed by the administrations, police, as well as public places like airport, railway station, bus, market should be integrated with the police control room to ensure for the better surveillance. And even for the women's safety, the government has called that there should be equal patrolling in each areas, and even for the public places, that is essentially called for the women's security, the child security. तो emphasis दी गई है surveillance को लेकर के. Moving to the other news, that is Chennai Airport become the fifth busiest airport in our country. This particular news is important for General Studies paper 3, that is infrastructure, energy, ports, road, airport and railways. So nearly 2 years after the COVID-19 impact, COVID-19 lockdown, COVID-19 के जो impact जो repercussions हुए हैं इकोनॉमी में, उसके बाद ये देखा गया है जो इंटरनेशनल एयर ट्रैफिक है, स्पेसिफिकली चेन्नई एयरपोर्ट की अगर बात करें, चेन्नई एयरपोर्ट में फुटफॉल बढ़ी है और चेन्नई एयरपोर्ट की जो रैंकिंग है एक रैंकिंग ऊपर आकर के दिस हैज बिकम द फिफ्थ बिजिएस्ट एयरपोर्ट इन आवर कंट्री आफ्टर दिल्ली, मुंबई, हैदराबाद एंड बेंगलुरु, राइट. So as per the Airport Authority of India, there has been a consistent increase in the number of international passengers in the last few months. चेन्नई एयरपोर्ट की पैसेंजर ट्रैफिक की अगर बात करें, हाउ द ट्रैफिक इज मूविंग इन द पर्टिकुलर रीजन. सो एज पर द एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया, द डेटा दैट वाज कलेक्टेड फ्रॉम द मे एंड जून, तो चेन्नई एयरपोर्ट की अगर फुटफॉल की बात करें, जो पैसेंजर्स ट्रैफिक है, अर्लियर इट वाज 3.45 लाख, now this has taken a toll of around 3.88 lakh passengers, right, and it went up to 4.29 lakh passengers, right. Now, the slump in the international traffic was a big blow for the Chennai airport during the pandemic. Right? Pandemic की वजह से काफ़ी ज़्यादा restrictions थी, and even for all the international flights were not operating. Now, gradually, more airlines are started services and people are traveling abroad too. Until February 2014, Chennai had held to be the third busiest airport. अगर बात करें उस टाइम पे चेन्नई third busiest airport हुआ करती थी after Bengaluru, which continued to retain its positions. Now, this is a graph that will help you understand about how things as the footfall has increased. There's the highest traffic in the air passengers from Delhi, followed by Mumbai, then Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Chennai, then Kolkata. World Bank report highlights the pandemic purchase challenges, something relevant for General Studies paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues, challenges to mobilization, resource growth and development. So the COVID-19 pandemic devastation seems to have deterred the fraudulent business and practices. अगर बात करें कुछ एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे, with a company from Singapore trying to dispatch a substandard Chinese KN95 mask in 2021 by the foreign third-party inspection certificates. तो ऐसा पाया गया है कि जिस समय कोविड-19 चल रही थी उस समय बहुत ज़्यादा फ्रॉडलेंट एक्टिविटीज़ भी हाई थी और यहाँ पे चाइनीज़ N95 मार्क्स बहुत ज़्यादा रिपोर्ट की गई. Now, this was discovered by the dispatch inspection team of the Hindustan Life Care Limited, and the bank guarantee suppliers have worth 9.75 million were encashed, right? So the money is now lying with a separate account of the Indian mission in Singapore. तो हिंदुस्तान लाइफ केयर की बात करें, ये स्पेसिफिकली जो प्रोक्योरमेंट होती है उनके लिए डेजिग्नेटेड बॉडी है जो कि देखती है पूरे डिस्पैच और ओवरऑल फंक्शन. Now, more about the report. The issues is of sub judice notice to the discussion of the paper that was released by the World Bank. उन्होंने एक specific report release की है, which is titled as India COVID-19 Procurement Challenges, Innovations and Lessons. So the report has also pointed out 200 million substandard soiled second-hand medical nitrile gloves and purchased from the US, that is from the Thailand-based company, right? और वर्ल्ड बैंक की अगर बात करें, वर्ल्ड बैंक और एशियन डेवलपमेंट बैंक ने जॉइंटली फंड दिया था कोविड-19 इमरजेंसी रिस्पॉन्स में एंड द हेल्थ सिस्टम स्ट्रेंथनिंग प्रोजेक्ट which was valued around 1.5 billions to India, right? Now, report की अगर बात करें जो रिपोर्ट थी the report says that India managed to get things right in the management of the pandemic including in the place for the central procurement जैसा मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में बताया सेंट्रल प्रोक्योरमेंट के लिए HHL लाइफ केयर को फाइनलाइज किया गया था गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से दैट दे विल बी लुकिंग इनटू द सेंट्रल प्रोक्योरमेंट policies and this would be only the nodal agency to looking for the central procurement. This has helped to accelerate the emergency procurement और HL ने support किया central procurement divisions को in preparation for the bidding document as well as bidding evaluations and the award of the contract. Now it has also helped them to manage the supply chain to deliver the commodities according to the demand of the states, right? And India has managed to scale up almost from 18 laboratories to testing laboratories थी उनको 2500 टेस्टिंग लेबोरेटरीज में कन्वर्ट किया गया विद इन अ 4 स्पैन ऑफ टाइम एंड इट वाज सीन दैट इंडिया वाज डेफिनेटली मेकिंग इट पेस टू गेट रेडी फॉर ऑल द पेंडेमिक चैलेंजेस दैट इज अराइजिंग, राइट? तो एक सीरियस चैलेंजेस जो स्टार्ट हुई थी ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन को लेकर के उसको खत्म करने के लिए इस तरह के इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन गवर्नमेंट ने लिए. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, the many ways to help Sri Lanka, something relevant for General Studies paper 2, that is India and its neighborhood relations. Now, पूरी editorial की जो theme है, that is about the revival of Sri Lankan economy with the help of India, how India can play a game changer role in this. So we'll be looking into the important aspects with 5 important subtopics, that is the greater engagement, India potential sector, revamping the माइक्रो स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस, एजुकेशन सेक्टर को कैसे रिवैम्प कर सकते हैं और द वे फॉरवर्ड. सो अगर बात करें कुछ स्टेक होल्डर्स की, श्रीलंकन पीपल की, और उन्होंने जर्नलिस्ट से ये बात कही है दैट श्रीलंका ग्रेटली वैल्यूज इंडिया सपोर्ट. जिस तरह से इंडिया ने सपोर्ट की है श्रीलंका को जो कि एक वर्स्ट इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस से गुजर रही थी आफ्टर देयर इंडिपेंडेंस, द पीपल हैव नॉट सीन सच वर्स्ट इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस और इंडिया ने प्रोएक्टिवली काफ़ी ज़्यादा सपोर्ट किया श्रीलंका को. वहाँ के लोग, वहाँ के स्टेक होल्डर्स इस चीज़ से इत्तेफाक रखते हैं, इस ट्रुथ से, इस एस्टैब्लिश्ड फैक्ट को वो मानते हैं. Now they account for the illustration that how Sri Lankan feel about India's response to the country's economic crisis, and India has provided assistance to nearly 4 billion in the neighbors. Now, however, it's a strong case for the greater India's engagement with Sri Lanka, which is struggling to tackle the crisis. Now, engagement की अगर बात करें, the engagement need to confine to the liberal loans. It could also include sharing of the technical expertise knowledge, helping the countries upskilling the different kind of area and the economic activities. Now, talking about the engagement process, how the greater engagement can be established between India and Sri Lanka. So, according to the cross-section people of Sri Lanka, agriculture और elite sector ऐसी है जिस पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा फोकस करने की ज़रूरत है. दिस कैन बी द प्रायोरिटी एरियाज बोथ फॉर इंडिया एंड श्रीलंका विच कैन मेक अ डिफरेंस, राइट? फॉर इंस्टेंसेस, श्रीलंका इम्पोर्ट अ कंसिडरेबल अमाउंट ऑफ मिल्क पाउडर, राइट? अगर एवरेज बात करें, कोलंबो एनुअली इम्पोर्ट्स डेयरी प्रोडक्ट्स ऑफ वर्थ $315 million. नाउ इंडिया कैन हेल्प श्रीलंका डेवलप इट्स डेयरी सेक्टर. अगर नेचुरल कंडीशंस की बात करें श्रीलंका की, इट इंक्लूड एन एवरेज annual rainfall for 185 centimeter, which is enormous potential for the development of dairy sector that remain untapped still in Sri Lanka. तो ये एक potential area है जहाँ जिसको explore किया जा सकता है. Now, leaving rather unsuccessful joint venture projects about 20 years ago, the National Dairy Development Board of India behind India Sri Lanka that could have a fresh start to this sector. तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा वो अपने फॉरेक्स रिजर्व को बचा पाएंगे. ना उसके अलावा और किन किन सेक्टर पे एंगेजमेंट हो सकती है, कौन कौन से ऐसे पोटेंशियल सेक्टर है जहां इंडिया और श्रीलंका एंगेजमेंट कर सकती है. सो लाइक द पोल्ट्री सेक्टर विच इज ऑल्सो अ स्टेट ऑफ कंसर्न डिजर्व अ स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट बिकॉज इट इज unable to overcome the term of problem in terms of the shortages of animals and veterinary medicines. So the domestic produce of maize, which is largely used for the primary ingredient in the Sri Lanka poultry feed, is again insufficient to fulfill the demand. उसके अलावा there's a host of agriculture universities. India can share its knowledge to increase both productions and productivity. एंड एग्रीकल्चर मशीनरी इज अनदर एरिया जहाँ पे इंडिया श्रीलंका को हेल्प कर सकती है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम द फाइनेंसेस, these are the important areas where establishment can be done between India and Sri Lanka. In a longer run, this will be paying more compared to the immediate economic, basically जो अगर amount की loans या line of credit दी जा रही है उनसे ज़्यादा advantages होंगी. MSME को रिवैम्प करना एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चैलेंज है. डिस्पाइट द एम्प्लॉयमेंट टू द लार्ज पॉपुलेशन, MSME definitely play a huge role, and the potential of MSME in the Sri Lanka has not been achieved yet, right? So according to the annual report for the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, this was reported, and even India has to go a long way in digitalizing the micro, small and medium enterprises. Programs will include the digital MSME and RAM, which include raising and accelerating the micro, small and medium enterprises performance, which can even leads to the MSME sectors. So इन सारे चीज़ों पे काम करने की ज़रूरत है. The entire revamping process has to overcome from the MSME accelerating and other raising part of the MSME performance with the upgradation and state-of-art technology in corporations. Now, school education की अगर बात करें, school education is another area where India's presence could be felt. तो एक बेसिकली नेशन बिल्डिंग के ख्याल से स्कूल एजुकेशन पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा काम की जा सकती है. इंडिया कैन एक्सपेंड इट्स scheme establishing the classroom, modern computer labs can be there, and even for the local languages, the mother tongue language Tamil can be also developed, right? And a collaborative project can be conceived for training the second hand and the third run employee in the public schools. Way forward की अगर बात करें, there's an enormous scope for India to engage with the constructive way, जहाँ पे जो southern neighbors हैं हमारे श्रीलंका, which is again known as a performing better for more economic in Asia. So India can definitely ensure that the long term, the sustainable development program is equitable distribution for their coverage. बहुत सारे ऐसे untapped potential sectors हैं जिन्हें explore करने की ज़रूरत है, और इंडिया अपने टेक्निकल असिस्टेंस से, अपने बेसिकली नॉलेज शेयरिंग के थ्रू बहुत ज़्यादा उनको हेल्प कर सकता है. सो दिस इज हाउ द वे फॉरवर्ड कैन बी कंक्लूडेड. Now, moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is C. For second question, the first question, the correct option is C. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice, आपको बताना है इंटरनेशनल एनर्जी एजेंसी के बारे में. The Energy Outlook report is released by IEA annually, and India is not an associate member of IEA. Second question is with regard to electoral bond. Most of you must be aware of this answer. All nationalized are authorized to issue the incas with the validity of 15 days from the date of issuance, and these bonds are remittable at the designated bank account of the political parties. So do check it out for the correct option for the both of the questions. If you know, it's well and good. If not, you have to search for better corrections and more details. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.